Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Irvin, with another anime review. Yes, finally we're coming to a slowdown of the first impressions. There's still a few of them that I'll be giving my first impressions on this season, but for now I'm starting my reviews of last season. Busy season for me here on this channel, but I'm excited. Now, before I continue, a few things. One, if you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. Let's see how fast we can get 2,700. Hopefully before the month ends, and that'll be awesome, to be honest. Secondly, there is a huge announcement on Wednesday. I promise you don't want to miss it. It's exciting for the channel. It's not too exciting outside the channel, but I think it's very exciting for the channel. So make sure you keep up. Wednesday, I will premiere the video. Make sure you're there. Lastly, guys, if you want to further support my channel, you can always become a Patreon. And also just know that there's a spoiler alert to this video, because I will talk about it in some detail. I'll try not to spoil everything, but I will talk about it in some detail. So you have been warned. This anime is better known as Astra Lost in Space, but is also known as彼方のAstra. Now, this one is set in the future. The year is 2063, and really, you can throw that year outside to the garbage, because it really is not that accurate. And I'll tell you, well, I won't tell you why, but it's very important to know that, at least in the anime, towards the end of the anime, because there's so many twists and turns, especially maybe the last 3 or 4 episodes, that you really have to keep up. Now, I will say, I'm not going to share any of those, because if you haven't seen the anime, it takes away from the experience. But if you have, I will talk about it in some sense where you guys can understand at least what I'm talking about. Anyways, the story itself follows Kanata and a bunch of other people. That's not fair. Kanta and Inori and Luca and Kitere and Ugar and let's see who else. Charge, Zach, and there's other characters as well that end up adding on eventually. But essentially, they get lost in space and they find the ship, and the ship helps them to get back to their planet, which is called Astra. It's not Earth, it's called Astra. So, also another twist to that, because in the way there, they do find a lady, Polina, I believe her name is, and she is from Earth, and she's confused because they have the same history. So that kind of gives it a great twist in this anime. The anime itself is a survival anime, and it showcases a lot of great themes to it. I do think that there's some twists in the story that kind of confuses you towards the middle, and you kind of feel like the writers were really running out of ideas, but in reality, they were trying to get all these stuff together and did it really well. What I kind of hated and liked of the anime was the last episode. I really want to talk about this last episode, because I think it's very important to know what the heck was going on. First of all, the episodes before were typical 23-24 minutes. This last episode was about an hour and a half. It's basically a movie. And it tells you the arrival of the group to Earth, what happens to the quote unquote criminals. I won't say much there, and then it also kind of jumps into time and shows us what happened to all these characters in the future. So we see them as grown-ups. Now, do I like that? That's nice to an extent. Like, I appreciate when they do that whenever you're super attached to characters, and you just kind of always wonder what would have happened when, they were adults and stuff like that. So they do that for you. They tell you, okay, they actually married, and they're actually going to have a kid, or she actually became successful, or he actually completed his dreams, and et cetera, et cetera. So I really appreciated that in the sense that it gives us a little bit more of the story or a conclusion of the story. A lot of anime nowadays are left off with a open-ended ending because sometimes in reality they're making it possible for them to make a second season or a third season. This one didn't really give it a chance to, we're not going to get a second season of Lost in Space. So they just told us they fulfilled their dreams, and that's about it. Now, that's kind of what I hate about it. In a sense as well, is that it takes away from the imagination. A lot of times when an anime ends and people are really, really in love with the anime, they'll start making up their own stories of what would have happened, what could have happened afterwards. Now, does that take away too much of the story? Not so much, but it wasn't really needed. It almost feels like when the criminals were arrested, and maybe we get a little bit of what happened to them days later, because they do that first. That could be the end. And maybe you can throw us an OVA later and show us what happened to them years later. I mean, I think that probably would have been better. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just going on a rant on something that is really pointless, but that's just kind of what I felt that they should have done. Overall, the anime, although it is survival, it's not really survival in the sense of someone's dying every episode. It's in the sense of working together to survive this possible attempt of murder. Or maybe they just were lost by mistake. I did say there were spoiler alerts. Anyways, a lot of the planets they end up, they have different issues. A lot of the characters kind of learn a little bit of themselves in kind of each planet. We have characters who don't love themselves. A lot of them seem to have daddy or mommy issues, to be honest. And a lot of them are just confused with what the heck is going on. So we learn a lot about these characters each episode, and we get a lot of development through them, which is awesome. The captain Kansa does a great job in really being a captain. To be honest, he doesn't consider himself as a captain, but he really was a good captain. So much that he put his life on the line. I'll just put it like that. And the second to the last episode definitely showed that. So in other episodes as well, he threw himself or he hanged himself from an airplane to save a guy who was in the water, he was done with it. He was just gonna let himself drown. He threw himself into space to save the girl who ended up being his wife. He saved the little girl from also dying. He protected others in other occasions. So there's so much that he did that obviously he ends up being kind of like the outshined character of them all. He also is the one that kind of figures out who the traitor between them is, because there is a traitor between them. So yeah, it's great when it comes to development of characters. I really appreciate that. It wasn't like we have a bunch of bland characters and we have this one character that we're gonna follow the entire time. When you have a huge group like that, you do have to develop each character, but also you don't want to take too much time on developing each character where it takes away from the story itself. So they did a good job in mixing both, and I really appreciated that. Lastly, I do want to comment on the artwork, and the animation was just beautiful. Them landing in multiple planets, and the artists needing to do, and the animators having to do different terrains and different colors, and some were very colorful, some were very dark, some were just bland planets. They did a great job. I think there's times that they kind of panel the universe, or they panel the stars, or they panel the terrain, the planet, and it's just beautiful. They did a great job on it, and yeah, I think this is one of the ones that a lot of people slept on and did not take advantage on it. So if you have not watched it yet, go watch it. It's one of those animes that I think should be watched and should be in the list that at least you've watched. I don't think it's gonna be a favorite of all time for a lot of people. It probably isn't one for me, but it is probably one of the best ones this season, to be honest. So if you didn't watch it because maybe the first episode was kind of weird, to be honest, the first episode didn't really. I mean, it attracted me with the animation, but it didn't attract me with the plot. So, but further than that, the episodes just got better and better. So, go watch it if you haven't yet. I recommend it myself. Out of 10, I'm gonna give this one a 8 out of 10. I think it deserves it. I think in my anime list. Let me go real fast here in my anime list. I just had it open to see what the heck was going on in this anime. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, my anime list has it at 8.27. So that's definitely one that not just me, but my anime list also recommends. Not a lot of animes have that rating nowadays. So 8.27 is a great rating in my anime list. So go check it out. Don't sleep on it. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you are ready for all these twists and turns, because there will be a lot of them. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you haven't done so, comment, share, like, do all that fun stuff. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so by now. If you have, then do all the other stuff, and that will help my YouTube algorithm. Also, there is a awesome announcement on Wednesday, and I'm ready for it to be announced. I've been kind of working on this for a while, and I'm excited to see what people think about it. It is a huge change. So make sure you don't miss that video. If you're not there for the premiere, make sure you don't at least miss the the actual video that we posted after the premiere anyways. So anyways, guys, thank you again for your love and support, and like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.